Hi, my name is Lucy and I'm from Florida. Please like and subscribe. My parents are super rich. We own a huge mansion and I can basically get whatever I want, whenever I want. I had everything. Well, except popularity. I was probably the least popular kid in my class growing up. I was always picked last in team games and no one wanted to speak to me. I remember on my 15th birthday, my parents had invited everyone in my class to our mansion, and I know the only reason they came was because they knew the party would be amazing since we were so rich. I wanted to impress everyone, so I wore my favorite Hello Kitty dress. As I walked down the stairs, they all stared at me. I was flattered they were so speechless by the sight of me. But then, one of them screamed,
"Ew! What are you wearing?"
Everyone laughed. I turned bright red.
Yeah, Hello Kitty. More like Hello Brittany.
Everyone laughed, and I was about to run back to my room when one boy jumped out in front of everyone.
Hey, leave her alone. I think she looks beautiful.
Everyone was shocked, because the boy who had defended me was Marco, the new kid in our class. He was so cute. Marco and I spent the rest of the evening together, and by the end of it, Marco had already asked me out on a date. Our first date was amazing. Turns out Marco's family was rich too, because he took me to this super expensive restaurant and bought me a diamond necklace afterwards. I was in love with him. He was so sweet and kind. The next day at school, I was walking through the hallway when I saw Marco. He had blonde hair today. He must have bleached it. It looked really good, and I was about to call out to him when suddenly he pressed himself against the girl he was chatting to and kissed her. I froze. My heart felt like it had literally broken in two. I turned around and cried all the way home. Marco kept calling me after that, but I always ignored him. Finally, one night he appeared at my house.
Brittany, please, hear me out.
No, I saw you kissing another girl.
That wasn't me.
Are you kidding me? I saw it with my own eyes.
No, look.
Marco stepped to the side and pulled someone next to him. I gasped. They were identical.
Hey, I'm Luke.
The other boy smiled. I finally understood. So, you're twins?
Well...
Marco grabbed another boy from the side and I gasped even louder. You're triplets?
Yeah, so listen, I didn't cheat on you. You saw Luke kissing someone, not me.
Luke grinned and winked at me. I blushed.
If it helps.
The other triplet, who I learned was called Adrian, spoke up.
We all have different hair colors, see?
I noticed that he was right. Marco had black hair, Luke had blonde hair, and Adrian had ginger hair. That was lucky. It would be easy to tell them apart now. Suddenly, my mom appeared at the door.
Honey, who are you talking to?
She froze and she looked at each of them. Marco and I continued dating. Adrian and I got along really well, and he actually became my best friend. I discovered that although the triplets were identical in looks, they had completely different personalities. Luke was a bad boy, Marco was the angel, and Adrian was the loyal type. One night, Marco appeared at my house randomly. Oh, hey, Marco.
Yeah, it's me, Marco.
Marco entered and we sat in my room for a bit. Then I leaned over and kissed him. He looked flustered. What's wrong? Marco took off the beanie he was wearing, revealing blonde instead of black hair. You're Luke?
I'm sorry. I should have said something sooner. But when you mistook me for Marco, I just went with it.
But why?
Because I think you're beautiful and I like you.
I couldn't even speak. I would be lying if I said I hadn't found Luke charming, but I was dating Marco. While I was thinking over all this, my mom entered the room.
Oh, am I disturbing something? No, I'm just leaving.
Luke looked at me.
Think about it.
He left.
What was that all about?
I explained everything to Mom. What should I do? Who should I pick? Mom thought about it.
I think you should pick Luke.
I was surprised by her answer. Really? Don't you think he's a little too bad for me?
No, I think he's perfect for you. You should definitely pick him.
Oh, okay. I trusted my mom, so I did what she said. I broke up with Marco and dated Luke. Marco was heartbroken and was so hard to do, but I guess my mom was right. Dating Luke was so fun and adventurous. I never knew what to expect. Luke and I arrived back at my house after riding on his bike all day across the street. We were in my room when we started hearing shuffling upstairs where my parents' room was. I hadn't realized anyone was home. Then we heard something crash and we rushed upstairs, thinking there were burglars. But what we saw was even worse. My mom was making out with Marco. Can you believe it? Mom, what are you doing? Marco and Mom broke apart. Marco! Marco was red with embarrassment. Mom was even more embarrassed. Is this why you told me to date Luke? So you could have Marco all to yourself?
Listen, honey, I didn't really see this coming either. Yeah, Lucy, it just sort of happened.
I don't care. When Dad arrived that night, I told him everything. He was so shocked and him and Mom fought all night. I didn't care. What Mom had done hurt me. My parents ended up getting a divorce. Mom moved out. I ended up breaking up with Luke too. I realized he didn't make the best boyfriend because even though he was fun and adventurous, he was also pretty disloyal. I didn't get back with Marco though, because that was a whole other level of weird now. He had kissed my mom. If I ever kissed him, I would always picture that. I was sitting in the backyard one day after school. I was so sad. I had no friends, no boyfriends, my parents were divorced, everything seemed terrible. But then I felt someone sit down next to me in the grass. I looked over. At first I thought it was Marco, but then I saw the ginger hair and realized it was Adrian.
How you holding up?
I sighed. I've been better.
Listen, Lucy, if you ever need anything, I'll always be here.
Adrian held my hand. I looked at him suddenly. Was this it? Had the answer been here all along? Adrian laughed nervously.
Why are you looking at me like that?
I gulped. Adrian, I think I like you. Adrian was speechless. Then he shook his head as if in a daze.
You... what?
I like you. Adrian ran his hand through his hair, then looked at me. He smiled.
You know, I've been dreaming of the day you'd finally say that. I've had a crush on you since forever.
I smiled. We kissed, and it was the happiest moment of my life. Adrian and I dated, and by far, it was the happiest relationship out of the 3 triplets. With Luke, it was spicy, but too unstable. With Marco, it was just nice, but too boring. But with Adrian, it was just right. I feel like Goldilocks. Life was good. Except for my divorced parents, but hey, you can't have everything. But then the good times, like all things, came to an end. Prom was approaching. I was expecting Adrian to ask me any day now. Finally, it seemed the time came. We were in the cafeteria and Adrian appeared with a huge board that had the words, "Will you go to prom with me?" written in bold.
Lucy, No!
Marco suddenly appeared. He had a teddy bear and flowers.
Lucy, please take me back! I never should have kissed your mom!
The crowd watching us all gasped in shock. What? Before Marco could finish, Luke drove into the building on his motorbike.
Hey Lucy, don't settle for these dimwads. Come to prom with me. Bro, you stay out of this. No, you stay out of this. You both better leave before I get mad.
Then they all started fighting. I couldn't even do anything. I was beyond shocked. At the beginning of this year, I would have never expected to find 3 hot guys fighting over me. While they were all fighting, I sneaked away, but as I was walking, I found Luke's phone on the ground. It was already open, and I saw that he had been messaging my mom. What could they possibly be talking about? I read through, and I felt my stomach drop. All of this, everything, it had all been set up. These are the messages I saw.
Luke, my daughter Lucy is very lonely and needs a boy like you to spice up her life. I will pay you $10,000 to date her, but you must date her all the way through to after prom. Wow, really? Awesome! But what's the catch? Smart boy. The catch is your brothers are fighting for her as well. Only one of you will receive the reward money. Good luck.
I was devastated. But then I realized it all made sense. The triplets must have lied when they said they were rich. When Marco had bought me that diamond necklace, he must have done it expecting to win the $10,000. That's the only reason why he spent the money. And Luke's motorbike? He must have just rented it out to win me over. But Adrian... Oh, Adrian. The fact that he was dating me for some cash reward broke me the most. And my mom, how could she do this to me? I know she was trying to help me, but this wasn't the way to go. And why had she kissed Marco? I looked up and Adrian was approaching me.
Lucy, what?
He saw the phone and the messages. Tears were running down my face.
Lucy, please, it's not what you think.
I threw the phone at him. You jerk! I ran all the way home and didn't look back. But when I arrived home, I was met by another nightmare. My mom was there.
Hi, honey. Good news. Your dad and I are getting back together.
I hate you! Mom was shocked, but then understanding dawned on her face.
So, you found out.
How could you do this to me?
I did this for you. Oh, honey, you were so sad and lonely. I wanted to help because I love you.
No, Mom, this isn't love. I ran to my room. I told Dad about what Mom had done, and he kicked her out again. I cried all night. Suddenly, I heard knocking on my window. I went over to investigate and found Adrian hanging by the branch of a tree. Adrian?
Please let me in. I'm about to fall.
I hesitated but let him in. Now, get out.
Lucy, please. It's all a big misunderstanding. I didn't take on your mom's deal.
I'll never believe another word you say.
If you won't believe me, believe this.
Adrian showed me his phone. I read his messages with my mom, and sure enough, he was telling the truth. When my mom had offered him the money, Adrian had said,
That's a terrible thing to do to your daughter, and I won't be a part of it. But when I got to meet you and we spent more and more time together, I realized that I really do love you. My awful brothers are the ones taking advantage of you, not me. Please, Lucy, you gotta believe me.
I smiled and kissed him. Of course I believe you. Years passed. Adrian and I ended up getting married. On our wedding day, the priest gave his speech and said,
If anyone objects to this marriage, speak now or forever hold your peace.
Suddenly, I saw two heads appear in the audience, Marco and Luke. My blood ran cold. Not again. But then someone else appeared. Mom. She hadn't been invited to our wedding, but she had shown up anyway. I thought she was gonna ruin everything, but she did something unexpected. She grabbed Luke and Marco by the ears and dragged them away so they couldn't object. I watched her go, and as she turned around to glance at me, I mouthed the words, "Thank you," to her. She smiled, nodded, and left.
You may now kiss the bride.
Adrian and I kissed, and I was so ready for this next chapter of my life.